In this comparison, we're looking specifically at car-like SUVs, $50,000 soft-roaders with good manners that offer plenty of refinement. We start with Toyota's Kluger. It is easily the most popular model here, and it's not hard to see why. A big, practical unit that bears one of Australia's most trusted names on its snout. The Kluger's biggest trump card is interior space. It has the largest second and third rows on offer, thanks in part to clever middle seats which independently slide and tilt. There's a comprehensive array of storage, including a mammoth centre console, and the engine is the most powerful on offer. But there are caveats. Well, it wears a Toyota badge. The Kluger is a car built in America for Americans. That shows most in the engine. It's got a big, lazy V6 engine that has the most power here, but by the same token, it uses a lot of fuel. There's no diesel option either, so if you buy one of these, you probably want to live in a place that has cheap petrol. The American theme transcends the ride and handling of this vehicle as well. It's a big, comfortable proposition out on the road. Really good for long open road trips, but also comfortable enough for the daily grind. It absorbs bumps really well, outside noise is really well hushed from inside the cabin, and the engine itself offers plenty of punch for everyday applications. Cars don't get much newer than the Mazda CX-9, which has a fresh platform with more compact dimensions, a new turbocharged engine, and a redesigned cabin intended to please the entire clan. There are plenty of thoughtful touches, including USB charging points in the front and back, as well as third row seats that you can access easily. The interior is well executed, a major strength being the fitment of child anchor points in the third row. A standout for the Mazda is its basic safety equipment, comprising automated emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert as standard. There's also the new turbocharged petrol engine that promises excellent real-world efficiency, though we found a fuel average marginally higher than the claim. Now, this latest CX-9 is all new from the ground up, and it really shows in the way that it drives. Mazda have made a concerted effort to try and address some of the problems of previous Mazdas, and in particular the previous CX-9. I've got to say, hallelujah. The road noise that we've whinged about for so long is now gone in this model. Anecdotally, it was actually the quietest car on test, and it is really refined. It just enhances some of the other aspects of the car that are so much better than the predecessor. I really like the ride and handling in this particular model. It's a really good trade-off between agility and comfort. It's the sort of blend that you'd want in an everyday 7-seat SUV. It's a similar story with the engine. It's a really willing little powertrain. It's the only turbocharged petrol engine on the Mazda fleet, and it really does strike up a neat balance between efficiency and power. You roll on, and there's barely any hesitation. The engine just picks up nice and easy from down low on the dial. It's quite a nice change from previous Mazdas that have in the past been quite coarse at revs. This one's nice, smooth and refined. It's definitely a huge step up on the predecessor and really brings a couple of new benchmarks to this segment. The Hyundai Santa Fe sits at the opposite end of the spectrum as the oldest vehicle here, resisting any wholesale change since its introduction in 2012. Even withstanding a modest styling update in 2015, the 7-seater feels its age inside the cabin, missing out on second row USB points and sporting less cup holders than the Kia sister car. Like the Mazda, it reserves some safety tech for the flagship Highlander trim. Elsewhere, the Santa Fe offers a convincing and usable interior space, along with the peace of mind of a 5-year warranty. Now, similarly, the Hyundai is middle of the road in terms of the way it drives as well. It's the lightest car here by about 70 kilos, and straight away that helps enable a fairly car-like driving behaviour. I like the way that it holds poise through corners. The steering offers enough feedback for this sort of vehicle, and it is a really nice, sure-footed thing out on the road. In terms of criticisms, it is a little bit noisy over bumps. If you hit harsh imperfections in the road in particular, you'll notice quite a thud through the cabin. By the same token, small amplitude imperfections really tend to be reflected into the cabin, so it feels as though the ride doesn't settle quite as well as what you'd find on the likes of the Mazda. Now, the Hyundai gets the same 2.2 litre turbo diesel as what's found in the Kia. The only downfall really is that it tends to flare a little bit at revs, and I say that in the context of the turbo petrol in the Mazda, which is much more polished and refined out on the road. The Kia enters this bout as Drive's benchmark family SUV, having won its category in our coveted Car of the Year awards. Above all else, the Kia's huge strength is a 7-year factory warranty. Its equipment rates line ball with the competitors, with a reversing camera, sat-nav and front and rear parking sensors, but no safety driver aids to speak of in this SLI variant. The Kia is just shy of the Toyota on rear seat space, and its rear cabin plastics tend more towards durability rather than comfort.
Now, although they're the same car underneath, it's amazing just how different the driving behaviours are between the Hyundai and the Kia. There's a couple of key differences in calibration. One is the steering. Although the steering isn't quite as direct on the Kia, it does transfer bumps in the road a little bit more. That carries over to mid-corner bumps, but also on coarse chipped surfaces. It does seem to reflect some of the grumbling in the road a little bit more. Now, the transmission and the engine are all carryover, but in this Kia, it feels a little bit more direct, and I think I like the teaming a little bit better. You get less flare from the engine coming into the cabin, and the diesel seems to work better with the 6-speed transmission. Ultimately, this comparison comes down to a 2-horse race. If safety and on-road refinement are important, well then the odds start to weigh up in favour of the Mazda. In saying that though, if space and peace of mind of a 7-year warranty are top priorities, well then it's hard to look past the Kia. But in today's test, it's the Mazda that takes the cake.
The reality is there are no losers in this comparison. The Kluger has space, the Hyundai on-road poise and the Kia value. But the Mazda's combination of safety gear, on-road refinement and family versatility lend it an edge. A perfect demonstration of why 7-seat SUVs are the new family bus.